Keeping your mouth shut sometimes can be the best decision you ever made. Picture a world where staying quiet speaks volumes, where your peacefulness is stronger than any disorder surrounding you. Today, we're exploring the power of being silent, a skill that's incredibly strong but often overlooked in our loud and busy lives. Think back to a time when you were swamped with rumors, wrongly insulted, or criticized unfairly. It was tough, right? Now imagine dealing with those situations with such calm grace that you come out not just unharmed, but stronger, more respected, and calm. This isn't merely about keeping silent. It's about using silence as a deliberate choice, a means for personal development, and a way to achieve peace within. Stoicism shows us that often the most powerful thing we can do is nothing at all, letting our silence speak for us. It's about being so stable in your own values and self-esteem that life's challenges can't disturb you. So, if you're fed up with the constant cycle of reacting, fighting back, and then feeling sorry, stick with me. Today, we'll look at how to make your silence a source of power, how to remain unshaken during life's upheavals, and how sometimes choosing to say nothing can mean everything. Before we get into the heart of developing silent strength, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and follow us throughout this video. Every second is a step towards mastering the art of stoic silence and changing your life. Picture this. A rumor about you is spreading fast, bouncing from one person to another. Your name is whispered in corridors, typed up in chat rooms, and there you are, at the center of it all, feeling the pull to jump in and correct every misinterpretation and exaggeration. But hold on, Stoicism suggests we pause. Why? Because engaging with gossip only fuels it, giving it more strength and presence. Instead, think about the power of silence. By choosing not to join the noise, you deprive the gossip of what it needs most: attention. Now, this isn't simple. It's hard to listen to lies and not respond. But think about it. Your mental peace, your inner calm, is worth so much more than the brief satisfaction of setting the story straight. Stoicism doesn't urge us to be passive, but to use silence wisely. In not reacting, there's a hidden strength, a distinct power. Remember, the people who truly matter, who really know you, won't be influenced by mere gossip. And those who do believe it, they aren't your concern. Focus on your deeds, your moral fiber, your integrity. These are the qualities that truly define you, not the negative chatter of detractors. Next time you feel the urge to confront rumors directly, pause for a moment, take a deep breath. Remind yourself of your stoic shield and choose silence. Notice the strength that this silence offers you. In that quiet, you aren't just dodging negativity, you're elevating yourself above it. You're opting for a route of dignity, self-respect, and ultimately, peace. We've all dealt with it at some point. Harsh words that cut a bit too deep, a sting that doesn't quickly fade. Whether face-to-face, online, or even masked as humor, insults can unsettle even the strongest among us. When someone insults you, it often says more about their character than yours. Their words reflect their own battles, insecurities, or a brief poor judgment. Stoicism encourages us to see this with clarity, to disconnect ourselves from the bite of their words, and to discover such deep internal strength that the insults simply lose their effect. How do we achieve this? First, by understanding that the only opinion that truly defines you is your own. You command your soul, you steer your destiny. When faced with insults, you have a choice. You can react, strike back, and let those words affect you deeply. Or you can stand above, secure in the knowledge of who you are and the values you live by. This isn't about ignoring or pushing down your emotions. It's about recognizing them, understanding why an insult is painful, and then deciding not to let it disturb your calm. It's about choosing how to respond instead of just reacting. Sometimes that response is simply being silent, a quiet, forceful silence that declares, "Your words do not define me." And remember, being stoic doesn't mean you avoid seeking help or speaking up against wrongdoing. It means managing what you can control: your reactions, your feelings, your self-respect. You can't control what others say, but you can decide if you let their words affect you deeply. By handling insults with stoic wisdom, you're not just shielding yourself, you're rising above. You're living a life not swayed by the fluctuating opinions of others, but rooted in a strong sense of self-worth and inner peace. Feeling angry isn't wrong. It's a natural reaction to perceived slights or injustices. The real test, and where stoicism comes into play, is in how we manage our response to that anger. Think of anger like a wildfire. Without control, it can destroy everything. But handled with the composed mind of a stoic, that fire can be contained and used to enlighten instead of devastate. How do we manage this? It starts with a pause. This might seem small, but it's incredibly effective. In that moment of pause, you create a gap between what triggers you and your reaction. This space allows you to choose your response instead of just reacting impulsively. In that pause, ask yourself, why am I angry? Stoicism encourages us to dig deeper. Often our anger comes from a place of hurt, perceived threat, or injustice. By understanding the real cause, we can address it more effectively than if we simply lash out. Here's where it gets interesting. Stoicism doesn't just have us analyze our anger, it challenges us to question its basis. Is our perception correct? Have we misunderstood something? By questioning our assumptions, we might discover our anger is rooted in a misinterpretation or an exaggerated view. And if the anger is justified, Stoicism doesn't suggest suppressing it, but instead advocates for constructive anger, which can be a real thing. It's about using controlled, purposeful anger for positive outcomes. Consider it a tool, not a weapon. It can drive us to tackle injustices, assert ourselves, or implement meaningful changes in our lives. Yet, even when our anger is justified, we shouldn't let it take the reins. The Stoic thinker Seneca described anger as a form of temporary insanity. So while it's good to recognize and channel our anger constructively, we must be careful not to let it cloud our judgment or control our actions. By embracing these Stoic teachings, we don't become devoid of emotion. Instead, we become skilled at managing our emotions. We learn to counter anger with logic, wisdom, and integrity. This approach not only prevents harm to ourselves and others, but also fosters a state of internal peace and resilience. When you encounter unfair criticism, Stoicism advises you to pause and breathe deeply. This isn't about suppressing your feelings. It's about allowing yourself time to process emotions thoughtfully and to avoid knee-jerk reactions. Our instinct might be to fight back or defend our position aggressively. However, Stoicism shows us the immense power in carefully choosing our responses. Now imagine you've just been criticized unfairly. Your first impulse might be to argue or correct the misunderstanding, but consider a Stoic approach. Ask yourself, does this criticism, whether true or false, define who I am? Remember, your value and self-worth do not depend on others' opinions or judgments. Stoicism teaches that our true essence and integrity remain unaffected by external evaluations. Then, think about where the criticism is coming from. Stoicism encourages us to consider the critic's motives and perspectives. Often, unfair criticism reflects the critic's own biases, insecurities, or personal issues rather than your own shortcomings. By recognizing this, you can see the criticism for what it really is, more a statement about the critic than about you. However, embracing stoicism doesn't imply passivity. If there's a hint of truth in the criticism, even if it's harshly presented, see it as a chance to grow. Look at it objectively. Is there something useful you can learn? Something to enhance? Stoicism motivates us to use every situation, even the uncomfortable ones, as opportunities for personal growth. Now, focusing on maintaining your calm, Stoicism asserts that your mental peace is crucial and should not be easily shaken by external factors, including criticism. By separating your emotional health from the opinions of others, you protect your inner calm from the inconsistent waves of approval and disapproval. Loss is a natural part of life. Whether it's the death of a loved one, the end of a relationship, a job loss, or a change in our personal identity, it's intense, it's genuine, and it can be deeply hurtful. In these moments of pain and sadness, Stoicism acts as a guiding light for hope and resilience. Stoicism recognizes the agony of loss. It doesn't tell us to hide our grief or act as though it doesn't affect us. Instead, it provides a method to handle our losses in a healthier, more constructive way. It reminds us that while we have no control over what we lose, we do have control over how we respond to our losses. Imagine you're dealing with a major loss. The world seems to be falling apart around you. Stoicism encourages you to pause and take a deep breath. Allow yourself to experience your feelings, to grieve. Yet, as you do so, remember, your emotions are natural reactions, not directives. You are allowed to feel sad, angry, or confused without letting these emotions drive your decisions or shape your future. Now, consider this deep Stoic insight: loss as a pathway to growth. Each loss, regardless of its severity, carries potential for new beginnings, newfound strengths, and fresh insights. Ask yourself, what lessons does this loss hold for me? How can it contribute to my growth? This approach isn't about quick solutions or forced optimism. It's about being open to the idea that even in our darkest moments, there can be sources of light. Stoicism also enlightens us about the nature of impermanence, teaching us that loss is an integral part of the cycle of life. Everything and everyone we value is, in a way, temporarily ours. By embracing this idea, we can cherish our blessings more deeply while we have them and release them gracefully when necessary. Stoicism encourages us to embrace our community in times of loss, to share our sorrows, accept support, and provide comfort to others who are grieving. This can be profoundly therapeutic. Remember, being stoic doesn't mean isolating yourself. It means having the wisdom and courage to connect with others, even when we feel most exposed. By adopting Stoicism, we don't downplay our loss or ignore our pain. Instead, we learn to manage our grief with grace, gradually finding our way back to balance and peace. Over time, we come to accept the pain while also recognizing our ability to heal, to find purpose, and to move forward with enhanced strength and insight. When faced with injustice, our first reaction might be anger or despair. These are typical human feelings. However, Stoicism prompts us to pause and view the situation with clear-headedness and calm. It doesn't suggest we become unfeeling or disengaged. Instead, we choose a response that reflects our deepest values and principles, not one that's driven by our immediate emotions. Imagine you see or experience something unfair. The Stoic way starts with observing and understanding. Ask yourself, what can I actually change? Stoicism directs us to concentrate our energy on our actions and mindset, the areas where we have true control. Although we might not be able to correct every wrong, we can decide not to let it reduce our resolve or our dedication to justice. Now let's explore the Stoic method for confronting injustice. It involves acting with intent and purpose, whether that means raising awareness, supporting those impacted, or striving for systemic reforms. Our actions should be considered, intentional, and based on a profound understanding of what justice really means. Stoicism also promotes building inner toughness. Facing injustice can be exhausting and disheartening, sometimes feeling like it's breaking our spirit. But remember, your internal stronghold, your essence of stoic resilience, remains intact. You can face or witness injustice and still keep your peace and moral integrity. This isn't about ignoring the problem. It's about not letting external turmoil disturb your internal calm. Furthermore, Stoicism emphasizes the importance of community and our shared humanity. Injustice can make us feel isolated, as if we're alone in our battles. However, it's crucial to remember that we are part of a broader human network. Connecting with others, uniting in solidarity, and tapping into our collective strength and wisdom can be incredibly strengthening. By adopting a Stoic perspective on injustice, we chart a thoughtful way forward. We respond not with sudden anger or despair, but from a position of calm, principled strength. We recognize our feelings without becoming consumed by them. We concentrate on actions we can take, no matter how minor, to promote justice and equity. When confronted with ignorance, our initial instinct might be to argue, to correct, or to diminish the other person's views. It's natural to want to correct misunderstandings. However, Stoicism encourages us to pause and handle such situations differently. Rather than treating ignorance as a confrontation to be conquered, see it as a chance to exercise patience, empathy, and understanding. Consider a scenario where you're in a discussion and someone shares a viewpoint that is not only different, but clearly misinformed. The Stoic method begins with listening. Truly listening. Attempt to grasp the background, experiences, or fears influencing their opinions. By listening actively, you're not agreeing with their ignorance. You're merely creating an opportunity to respond with thoughtfulness instead of impulsiveness. Then, assess whether this is a time to teach or a time to learn. Sometimes, the most stoic action is to provide information gently and respectfully, without insisting on changing the other person's mind. At other times, it might be more beneficial to ask probing questions, to understand why they think the way they do, or to consider what this interaction teaches you about patience and humility. But what if the ignorance you encounter is harmful or potentially dangerous? Stoicism doesn't encourage passivity in the face of wrongdoing or misinformation. In such cases, it's entirely appropriate to stand up, express your concerns, or offer correct information. The crucial aspect is to do this calmly, without letting anger or frustration dominate. Stoicism also advises us to choose our battles wisely. Not every display of ignorance demands correction. Sometimes, the most dignified and effective way to handle such situations is to simply walk away, saving your energy for more constructive discussions or actions. Furthermore, dealing with ignorance isn't only about others. It involves addressing our own misunderstandings as well. Stoicism promotes constant learning, always encouraging us to broaden our knowledge and question our preconceived notions. When someone brags, it's often a quest for validation or admiration. This craving for external approval might stem from their insecurities or a wish to be perceived as successful by others. Stoicism helps us to understand and empathize with these needs without becoming engulfed by them. Remember, genuine value and satisfaction come from within, not from outside praise or acknowledgement. Now, imagine you're in an environment where boasting is widespread. The Stoic response isn't to challenge or demean, but to listen silently and look inward. Choosing not to engage in verbal competitiveness or to feed into the boaster's need for attention isn't passive. It's a deliberate, impactful decision. This silence is not a sign of weakness. Rather, it's a strong, active choice that reflects your self-confidence and adherence to your personal values. Staying quiet helps you watch and learn why some people boast a lot. What happens if their bragging becomes excessive or even turns into lies? Even in these situations, it's best to think before you react. If you need to respond, make sure your reply is thoughtful, kind, and truthful, not just to make them look bad. Being silent when someone brags also gives you a chance to think about yourself. It's a time to reflect on why their bragging bothers you. Are you feeling insecure or competitive? By recognizing your feelings, you can better handle them without getting into conflicts over pride. When you keep quiet while others boast, you develop a sense of calm and humility. This quiet strength helps you value yourself without needing praise from others. You also let others share their thoughts freely, even if you don't agree with them. Think about a situation where you hear a false and harmful rumor about yourself. Instead of reacting quickly and creating more drama, take a moment to calm down and remember that your value doesn't depend on what others say. Choosing to be silent doesn't mean you're giving up. It means you're staying out of unnecessary conflict, saving your energy, and keeping your peace. This choice isn't about doing nothing. It's about knowing when to speak and when to let your actions and who you are speak for you. Often, rumors lose their power when they're ignored. In your quiet, the truth might come out on its own. But what about the impact of these rumors? Will people think your silence is you admitting they're right? This is where Stoic wisdom comes in. It teaches us that the people who really know and understand us won't be fooled by rumors. And those who are quick to believe the worst, their opinions were never under our control anyway. Stoic silence also gives us a chance to think deeply. It lets us strengthen ourselves from the inside against false information. In this quiet time, we can gain clearness, find inner strength, and understand better who we are and what we believe in. By keeping silent in the face of rumors, we also build our ability to endure challenges. We learn how to handle public opinion smoothly, to stay true to ourselves, and to go through life with a calm confidence that no rumor can disturb. Silence doesn't just shield us from the immediate storms of gossip and criticism, it also teaches us about patience and listening. When we stop to really listen to others, rather than planning our next response, we build stronger, more meaningful connections. This kind of deep listening helps us understand the perspectives and emotions of those around us, which can diffuse conflicts and foster empathy. In your everyday life, try to practice being silent for a moment longer than you normally would in your conversations. You might find that in this space, the other person opens up more, sharing thoughts or feelings they might have withheld in a more hurried conversation. This practice can transform relationships, creating a deeper bond and mutual respect. Furthermore, using silence strategically can also enhance your decision-making skills. In moments of decision, especially under pressure, taking a step back and embracing silence can give you the clarity needed to make choices that are aligned with your long-term goals and values. Instead of reacting impulsively, you assess the situation calmly, leading to more thoughtful and effective outcomes. In professional settings, This approach can be particularly powerful in meetings or negotiations where tensions might run high. Maintaining a composed silence can give you an edge. It shows confidence and control, and you may find that this silence prompts others to reveal more of their thoughts or strategy, giving you valuable insights into their positions and leverage points. Moreover, remember that embracing silence and stoicism isn't about suppressing your voice or emotions. It's about choosing the right moment and the right manner to express them. By cultivating a calm inner state, you're not only protecting your peace of mind, but also preparing yourself to engage with the world in a more impactful and thoughtful way. So, as we move forward, let's remember the power of silence, not as a weakness, but as a strategic tool that empowers us to live with dignity, enhances our relationships, and enables us to navigate life's challenges with grace and strength. Together, in our Stoic practice, we find not just tranquility, but also the resilience to stand firm in the face of life's tumults. Let's carry this wisdom into our daily lives, embracing each moment with mindfulness and a clear sense of purpose. As we wrap up our discussion today, remember that silence isn't just about being quiet. It's a source of strength and a sign of your inner toughness. When you choose to stay silent instead of speaking, you tap into the deep wisdom of Stoicism, turning challenges into chances for growth and peace. Now, I encourage you to keep going on this journey of growth and self-discovery. Let's work on living a life filled with calm, purpose, and lasting strength. Thank you for being part of this journey with me. Your involvement makes our Stoic community richer, and together, we're learning to handle life's challenges with dignity and resilience.